Alrighty. So, how many of you are ready to unlock your creative power and channel that into your marketing? And who could get excited about the idea of hitting consistent 10K months through organic marketing? Yeah, it's pretty exciting to me. But what if in the next 60 minutes you could learn exactly how to do this and really take away the exact marketing strategy that has allowed me to make hundreds of thousands of dollars organically in my coaching and consulting business? Could you get excited about that? Well, my name is Emily Jane Saroff, and I want to welcome you to the Magnetic Marketing Masterclass. But before we do dive into this training, I just want to take a moment to really acknowledge you because you're not like most people. Most people sign up to a masterclass, they say they want to create change, but then they don't even end up watching the training. But you are watching this today, which tells me that you're not like those people. You're not just interested in growing your businesses. This tells me that you're committed. Okay, so a massive congratulations to you before we even get started. Now, since you did decide to show up and watch this masterclass, my promise to you is I am going to over deliver in value in this training so that from start to finish, you feel like every single second was worth your time investment. Does that sound good to you? Amazing. So, welcome to the Magnetic Marketing Masterclass. I am so excited to dive into this with you. Now, before we get started, I just want to make sure that first and foremost, you are in the right place. So, if you're tired of feeling like your marketing is shouting into the void with zero return on investment, well, if that's you, then this masterclass is about fast and real results. It's time to get ahead and make your brand the name on everybody's lips. So, let's get you seen and paid. Well, I want you to also imagine bringing so much energy into your brand, right? That your dream clients can't help but hit that follow button and the buy button too. So, this masterclass will give you the spark and connection to make your brand unmissable. So, if that's for you, then you're in the right place. But this isn't just a bunch of fluff. We're diving deep today, and every strategy here is backed with data, processes, and proven success. So, we're going to give you the precise tools that you need to make your marketing magnetically effective, right? We're going to get technical and tactical. So, you're in the right place if that's what you're looking for. And I get it. You want a clear path to visibility that feels right and not feels rushed. Well, this masterclass, it's structured, supportive, and it's all about that steady growth. So you'll leave feeling fully equipped and confident to make those moves. If that's speaking to you, then you are in the right place. But why the heck should you listen to me? This might be the very first time you come across me, and you might be wondering, who the heck is this Empower with Em chick? Well, here is why you should listen to me for the next however long this training's going to go. I've done over $400,000 in organic sales in my own business. In fact, I made my first six figures in just 8 months at the age of 22. And this was largely due to the brand that I established rapidly, right? And we're going to talk about that kind of branding today. The second reason is I have over 3 years of industry experience. I'm not just another Instagram coach who lacks industry experience, who's been in the space for half of a second and claiming that they know everything. No, I have been in the industry for almost 4 years now, right? Which means I have seen the market shift, I've seen the market change, and I have learned how to adapt my marketing approaches to those changes also. And the final reason is, well, my clients, they're converting content to cash. Right. Within a matter of months, I have helped my clients reach consistent 10K and 20K months organically through their content marketing. So if that's something that you want to be achieving for yourself, then please be open-minded to listening what I have to share with you today. And if you don't believe me, then you can take a look at some of these results for yourself. This is just a few of the screenshots of results that my clients have been able to get through integrating my organic marketing strategy. We had one of our clients who has been doing consistent 10K months since starting with us. She also just closed her biggest month of $16,000 in sales, and 11, almost $12,000 of that was cash collected, right? Got another client over here, made 6,122 euros so far. That is over 10,000 Australian dollars, and that was in 1 month. So many of our clients are making those cash wins, but I really want to draw your attention down here to this box down the bottom. This client, she had a viral post with 333,000 views and growing. It brought in 885 new followers, booked 7 new sales calls, and she's completed a lead magnet of her own. So this is all through the organic marketing strategy that we are going to go through today. Amazing. Now you can pause this if you want to sit and you want to read deeper into these, but I'm going to keep on powering through for those people who are like, cool, I get it. Let's get to the chase. I know what you're doing, Em. I know that you know what you're talking about. I can see that you're getting the results. Now give those results to me. So I want to give you a little bit of a crash course on me as well. Just so then you have an idea of who I am and what I do. Oh, it looks like that image didn't load. How disappointing. Let's see if we can quickly re-upload it while I'm talking to you guys. Boom. Boom. Ah, she's not happening. She's not happening today. That's okay. It was just an image showing my podcast. Here we go. Let's substitute it for that one. Compromise on the go. Alrighty. So, a crash course on me. I am a business mentor, a brand strategist, and a speaker. Okay, so before I was a business mentor, before I was the brand strategist, before I was all of these things that I am now, I was a student. I was a student studying my Master's of Architecture. I was 5 years into that degree. I only had 6 months left to go before I was a full-fledged architect. And I felt this deep emotional turmoil at the time. Have you ever experienced that? Like this emotional conflict within you where it's like you're doing something that you've invested so much time and money and energy in that you thought was the path for you, but then you're feeling this pull to bring you into a new direction. Have you ever experienced that? Yeah, well, that was me. I was feeling that pull. I was feeling that conflict, right? My head was saying, stay in my degree, but my heart was saying, step away and start something else. And I made the decision to follow my heart. I made the decision to follow my heart and lean into building my podcast, the Empower With Them podcast, which then led me to discovering the business space that I am now in of coaching and consulting. And so I made that decision to really drop out of my master's degree with only 6 months left to go. I quit my 9-to-5 job. I invested all of my savings into a coach and I started my business. And within just 8 months, I hit my very first 6 figures. Now, I share that with you because I know so many of you, you might be in that position right now. Maybe you've just taken the leap for yourself, right? But I know so many can resonate with that feeling of living a life that's not fully in alignment with the potential that you know you could be living. Maybe you're full-time in your business right now and you feel like you're still not living to your fullest potential. Well, my mission is to really help you unlock that potential. I really truly believe that at any given moment, you can transform your entire life. You can change it in a blink of an eye. And your business can be the key to doing just that if you have the right guidance and you have the right strategy. Right? I don't want to spend too much time talking about my story. So if you do want to learn more about my story, you can scan the QR code on the screen and you can take a deep dive into my podcast because there's plenty about me on that. But today, this is about you and this is about giving you the value that you're here for. Okay, so now you have that mini crash course on me. Let's start to move forward. After being in the coaching industry for almost 4 years now, One thing that I know to be true is that the old ways of selling that used to work, they're not converting anymore. The reality is people don't like to be cold DM'd anymore. People have more trust issues when buying higher ticket after being burnt in the past as well. So the question is, how do we sell on social media in a way that works around these shifts in the market and how consumers like to buy? That is the question of the hour. Well, the solution is using a 100% inbound strategy, which leverages content marketing to attract your dreamy and aligned clients so that you can start closing more sales in your business without needing to send countless cold DMs. And this is actually a methodology that I teach my students inside my business coaching mastermind, right? But I'm giving you this strategy for free so that you can start generating more sales within your coaching business. In fact, the depth of this strategy that we're going to go into, oh, my team's going to be like, Emily, why are you giving all of this away for free? Students pay big money for this stuff. All I ask is in exchange for me giving you this value for free, all I ask is to jump on over to Instagram and give @empower with them a follow if you find this resource helpful. That is all I ask of you. Now, again, here are some killer client results. You can pause, you can read the screen if you want to, but for those who are like, let's get this ball rolling, we're going to move forward. So this training is going to be broken into two parts. The first part, we're going to focus on what it really takes to be a magnetic marketer. And then the second part, we're going to look at 4 organic marketing funnels that every coach and consultant should be using. Sounds good to you guys? Amazing. Let's dive straight in. So part 1, what it takes to be a magnetic marketer. There's a couple of things that I really believe make a magnetic marketer. The first is that they attract, they don't chase, right? The cold outreach kind of vibe, yeah, that's the good old chasing. You know, we think of the door-to-door sales, the cold calling, that's the chasing of a sale. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know, those methods work, those methods get results. But the magnetic marketer, they don't chase, they attract, right? They put things out into the world which call in the clients that they want to be working with. They are also a thought leader. This is a really big one, right? You can't unlock your magnetism if you're scared to share your opinions, if you're scared to share your thoughts because you're fearing judgment, right? So a magnetic marketer doesn't allow the fear of potential judgment to hold them back from sharing their voice, from making an impact, right? A magnetic marketer, they also embody their authentic and unduplicatable brand essence. Oof, I'm such a big one on branding. Branding is one of my strong points, one of my expertises, right? And I'm sure you can already tell that simply through the way that these slides, this presentation has been put together, right? It's a clear representation of my authentic brand, right? You get a bit of a feeling come through. We're going to talk more about branding in this training too, so I might put a little pause on that one there. A magnetic marketer is so visible that they become the go-to person in their niche. Again, in order to become so visible that you're the go-to person, you need to let go of that fear of judgment. You need to let go of whatever fear is holding you back. The fear of being a fraud, the fear of being called out, whatever it is that's holding you back from actually being visible online, from actually showing up 110%, right? And so that's one of the most important things is in order to be so visible that people actually recognize you as the go-to person in your niche, you need to release whatever's stopping you from being face to camera, from being in front of your audience, your ideal clients, from speaking loudly, proudly, right? Connects with the next one of they share their voice fearlessly and powerfully. Why aren't you sharing your voice right now? Why aren't you sharing your voice in its fullest, most powerful expression? What is the potential that you're missing out on because you're limiting the capacity at which you allow yourself to be seen and heard? And the magnetic marketer stands in their power and knows who they are. Now, that one there really makes me think of the it factor, right? Do you ever see someone on social media, maybe a celebrity, and you think, oh, well, they just got their success because they've just got it. They've just got the it factor. Well, you know what the it factor is? You can have it too. The it factor is just standing in your power, knowing who the heck you are, owning it, right? Not dimming yourself, diminishing your light, not making yourself small in order to be digestible to someone else. Stand in your power and know who you are. And then you'll become the magnetic marketer. All right. So the next thing I want to look at here then is what are the three fundamentals to really becoming a magnetic marketer? If this is what it takes to be a magnetic marketer, from a more strategic standpoint, what are the three fundamentals to actually being a magnetic marketer? Let's break them down one by one. The first is your message. It is so important to have such a strong and clear message so that you know who you are communicating to and you know what you're saying to them. Most entrepreneurs don't actually have a clear message. They're running around on social media, talking gibberish, talking about this, talking about that, changing the message up every single day. And what does that do? That creates confusion within your audience's mind. If you're showing up every single day talking about a million different things, and there's not a really clear and concise message that you're bringing into your marketing, no wonder your marketing isn't converting. Because it's a mess. It's a hot mess express. It's a hot mess express. So you need to know who you're communicating to so that you know how to speak their language as well. Right? Have you ever gone and listened to a talk and the person who's giving the talk is speaking a different language? Maybe they're speaking Chinese and you don't know how to speak Chinese. Are you able to understand the message that they're giving in that speech if the whole speech is in a language that you don't understand? Well, this is what happens when you don't have clear messaging. When you don't know who you're communicating to and what you're wanting to clearly communicate to them, it kind of is like you're speaking in a different language. And they're trying to listen, but they don't understand. They don't know what you're saying because you're not communicating in their language. So this is why it's so important to understand who your ideal client is and understand how to meet them with your message, how to draw them in with your message so that you can be reaching the right audiences and also converting them. So your message is your first piece. The second fundamental is your brand design. Brand design is so important. In fact, what you would have been able to see across this entire presentation is my brand design coming through. But the most important thing about a brand design, yes, the aesthetic is one piece of it, is one element of your identity as a brand. But what the most important thing is the feeling that your audience experiences. Let's jump back to this first slide of my presentation, actually. And I want you to take a moment to just sit and feel. What's the feeling that's coming through in this graphic design that I have put together for this masterclass? There are so many little components in this that have made it what it is, right? There's almost like a magical, creative, mystical, powerful essence, energy that comes through, right? You can feel the magnetism in the marketing, right? So this is branding. This is brand design. So what is the feeling that your audience is going to experience when they come across your marketing, when they come across your content, your masterclasses, whatever it may be? And how are you stopping the scroll? This is such a big one. Such a big one. Because how many pieces of content are going out into the ether of Instagram every single day? Billions. Billions pieces of content every single day being posted globally. So how does your 1 to 2 to 3 pieces of content stand out amongst the ocean of content that's out there? How are you stopping the scroll? And so this is where I really like to take branding to a whole other level, right? So here's some examples of some clients that I've worked with where I've done the creative brand design for them and really brought a feeling, an essence, a standout graphics design into the media that they're putting out onto socials, right? You can even see here the before versus the after. You can see the shift in the feeling that people get from looking at the content. But you can also see how this content is so much more scroll stopping than it was before. Same with this client, Jasmine, over here, right? You can see the shift in the essence of her content. And you can see how this kind of design is much more captivating and stops the scroll. So you can pause, you can take a deeper look at those examples, but we're going to keep on moving forward. Because the third fundamental is one of the biggest areas that we're going to be looking at in today's training. And that is your visibility strategy. Okay. Your visibility strategy is asking the question of how can I be everywhere that my ideal client is? And what you'll probably do is if you're brand new to business, you'll start small with this, right? You'll aim to be on one platform. What is the platform that your ideal client is on the most? And how can you be as visible as you possibly can be there? And then we start to put systems, processes in place to allow us to expand our reach, to allow us to be on multi-platforms. We're going to look at different levels of just Instagram alone, right? That you can be dominating to increase your visibility. But the more visible you are, the more likely you are to make the sale, because the most visible person always wins. Why? Because if you're the person that your ideal client is constantly seeing pop up everywhere they are, when the moment comes where they're ready to make that decision to invest in themselves, they know that you're the go-to person for that thing that they're looking for, because they see you, they like you, they know you, and they trust you because you've been all over their socials for however long it would be. It can take up to 70 touch points, 70 exposures for someone to be ready to buy. The hottest people will buy within 7 exposures, but the coldest, it can take up to 70. So how can you be thinking every single day, how can I reach that 70 exposures as quickly as possible so that I can be converting the coldest of people as quickly as possible? And we're going to explore how you can do that today. Alrighty, so let's dive into part 2. Part 2 is the 4 organic marketing funnels that every coach and consultant should be using. All right, and what we're really going to focus on with this as well is we're going to focus on Instagram. Okay, we're going to focus on the 4 organic marketing funnels that you can be using on Instagram in order to become the magnetic marketer. So let's go through the 4 different tiers first, and then from there, let's begin to break them down into actual tangible step-by-step, processes you guys can follow. So tier 1 would be the content magnets, reels, and carousels. Tier 2 is high value pieces. Tier 3 is live streams. And tier 4 is podcast features. So what I've actually done is I've actually created a flow chart for each of these so that you can see how to break down each of these tiers and make sure that you're mastering them to the T. So tier 1. Tier 1 is content magnets. So when I say content magnets, we're talking about reels, we're talking about carousels, we're talking about the content that is in your feed that we're pushing out there to really gain views, to gain reach, and to begin to convert. So what we've got here in this flow is a couple of different things. So the first stage of this flow, when it comes to your actual strategy, I want you to focus on posting 2 reels per day to generate an inbound flow of followers. Now, one of these at the minimum, one of these reels needs to be top of funnel, the kind of content that's going to reach the big audiences, okay? Ideally, if you can be doing 2 top of funnel reels every single day, then that's going to help you so much more. But these reels are really great for obviously reaching new audiences. The goal is to ultimately capture the attention of our ideal client and draw in cold leads to our page. So the conversion goal from this is to really gain new followers from your reels. And then that brings us to the next step, where we're going to actually message all new followers that come from your content, and we're going to welcome them to your page. Okay, so guys, if you've got new followers coming in right now and you're not opening conversations with them, you're missing out on opportunities immediately, right? So what we want to do is we want to message them, we want to have those conversations, and then we want to qualify our warm leads in the DMs, okay? Once we've qualified them, once we're aware that they're the right fit for what we have to offer, then we're starting the pitching process, asking for the sale or the sales call. Again, the posting frequency of reels should be 2 reels per day, 7 days a week, 5 to 7 days a week, okay? You can also leverage carousels when it comes to this same strategy. With the carousels, these are really great for nurturing your existing audiences and also to build a lot of authority through sharing like polarizing or educational content. So what you want to do is any lead that is engaging, again, on the reels or on the carousels, we're sending them the DM, we're qualifying them, and then the conversion goal is to ultimately be ultimately be attracting in new leads is one conversion goal, attracting in those followers. Another conversion goal is through the posting of this type of content, like the carousels, the authoritative, the educational content. We're going to be warming up our audience, moving them from cold to warm through those touch points. And again, like the frequency of that kind of posting, at least 2 carousels per week on top of the reels that you're doing. Making sense? Following along? Amazing. Feel free to pause this at any time if you need to. So the second tier is really focusing on high value pieces such as lead magnets, okay? This training right here is a lead magnet. It's a high value piece. This is a great visual example for you of that. But essentially a high value piece, this is a training or a resource which really delivers the solution to one of your ideal clients' problems, right? It's saying, do you struggle with this problem? If you do, then watch this or read this, and we're going to solve the problem right here, right now for you, to give your audience a quick win, to give them a high dosage of value, to build trust, to build authority, to nurture them, okay? The goal is to use your high value piece to actually extract leads from your existing audience and to get them to opt in to receive the resources. Alongside of that as well, it can be to attract leads from cold audiences. Let's say you're running lead magnet ads, or you're just organically, putting a CTA to your lead magnets in the reels that you're putting out there, right? These are all ways to be able to attract your ideal client. The thing with this though is you need to be very clear and very specific with your message, right? Remember how we spoke about messaging earlier? you need to make sure that the messaging around your lead magnet is speaking the language of who you want to be calling in so that they know that that's for them, right? So best practice is to really use email marketing platforms to really be collecting your leads, to be nurturing them through email marketing, and also to be having DM conversations with anyone who is opting in. Because again, ultimately the goal is to get like a sales call booked or a sales close, depending on, what your sales process is. So the flow of the high value piece, post the lead magnet on your stories to generate interest. Open conversations with all lead magnet opt-ins, pitch the sales call, and send the lead magnet. So that's if we were looking at it in the DMs specifically. If you are integrating your lead magnet into email marketing as well, there would kind of be like a side branch, which is saying, like having a nurture sequence, an email nurture sequence, so that after they've consumed and opted into that training, you're continuing to increase that visibility, exposure, and the touch points through your email list. Powering through, let's move to tier 3. Okay. Have a sip of my water. Awesome. So there's really 2 branches here to tier 3. We'll go through both of them. This is really looking at solo and collaborative live streams on social media. These are really, 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 really great for visibility, guys. So let's look at the solo live streams first. Solo live streams, these are great for nurturing your existing audience by running mini trainings or Q&As through your Instagram live. You really want to be doing this at the minimum 1 time per week. The higher the frequency, the better. Why? Because every time that you go live, your little bubble pops up on the story view section of Instagram, right? The news feed. So your bubble pops up every single time you do a live stream, which means visibility, right? So if you're going live at the same time every single day, and your audience is in the scroll at the same time every single day, every time they come and they open your phone, you're going to be at the top of their screen. Visibility, right? So minimum 1 time per week. Best practice is to ensure that the live streams are run during peak times of your audience's activity, so that way you can be making sure that you're actually catching people while they're live on the app. So you can look into your analytics, you can figure out what the most active time is for your audience. But I always just also think about like the demographic that my audience is. So let's say your audience is all 9 to 5 workers. Well, you're not going to do a live stream at a time where they're probably going to be at their 9 to 5 job. You'll either do it before 9 a.m. or you'll do it after 5 p.m., right? You'll do it in the times where they're either winding down from their workday, or you'll do it in the times when they're getting ready for their workday, so that you can be catching them before they're locked into their 9 to 5. A big thing with these live streams is using call to actions on your live streams to really get your audience to opt in to the lead magnet, and really offering them different things via, the DM opt-in messages. So what you would say is something like, if let's say, for example, you're promoting an offer, or maybe you're promoting a high value piece, right? Your freebie, your lead magnet on your live stream. You would go, if you enjoyed this live stream today, I actually have a training which goes even deeper into what we spoke about. Comment the word magnet, and I'll DM you the training straight after this live stream. Or if you're like really quickly to wrap up, you can be like, DM me the word magnet and I'll send you the training. So basically we're asking them to put their hand up to say, yes, I want the thing. And then we're following up after the live stream and we're actually giving them the thing that we said we'd give them. Okay. Again, this then comes back to, the goal of having DM conversations, qualifying, and then pitching sales calls. So everything that you're doing in this funnel, like every branch of this funnel, these are just different ways to be able to get those opt-ins from your audience, to get that interest, get the follower, to get the person asking for the lead magnet, to get the person engaging on your live stream. Different ways to really draw people out of your existing audience and also your cold audience to bring them in as a new lead in your pipeline. Collaborative lives, these are great as well. I'll touch on this briefly because this is really, really good for growing your visibility and getting yourself in front of new audiences and really being able to leverage someone else's authority to gain more authority and followers. So collaborative live streams, this is really about finding profiles whose audiences really align with your target audience and actually pitching a collaborative live stream to them. So this could be that the live is hosted through your page and maybe you bring a guest onto that and you ask them questions, or alternatively, they can host a live stream and you go on and they ask you questions. Either way works the same for that follower exchange, right? That getting the new views. And so essentially what we want to do is be, again, utilizing lead magnets, utilizing CTAs, and just utilizing the exposure to someone else's audience to bring new followers in, to then DM them, to qualify them, to then pitch to them, okay? So it's pretty straightforward when you really think about this, right? It's simple things that you can be doing to instantly shift the magnetism of your marketing strategy, right? Your social media strategy. So let's look at tier 4. Tier 4 is the last tier, which is podcast features. So this one, there's really, again, 2 ways that you can do this. You can either have someone come onto your podcast and you interview them and you leverage their audience through that cross collaboration. Or if you don't have a podcast, or if maybe you do have a podcast, like I do 20 outbound, I aim to do 10 outbound interviews a month. So that's me going onto 10 different podcasts and being the guest featured on that, right? So there's those 2 different ways where it's like you can bring guests onto yours or you can go and be a guest on someone else's. I would suggest doing a blend of both, but you going and getting onto as many people's as you can, because that really positions you as the authority. And then that's going to make you appeal much more magnetic on social media, right? So the goal is to gain new followers through exposure to warm podcast audiences, right? And leverage that authority of whoever runs that podcast. I would say the frequency at the minimum is 1 to 2 podcasts per week. And again, like you can do collaborative lives following a podcast to just further boost that conversion a little bit more. So the flow to really executing this is you start with cold outreach to podcast hosts via Instagram, asking them whether you want them on your podcast or if you can be on theirs, then doing the guest feature, using lead magnets to drive listeners to actually opt into your socials. And then you can repurpose the podcast video recordings into Reels, which is additional content, which feeds back into tier 1, right, of that magnetic content that you're putting out every single day. So let's delete that box there so that you can see this. You can pause this. You can review it all again. If you missed anything, you can make sure you can take down those notes or take your screenshot, whatever you want to do. I'll smile if you want to take a screenshot. Amazing. Now we're going to move forward to the final piece of this training. You now know what makes a magnetic marketer, right? Remember, we touched on that earlier today. What makes a magnetic marketer? It's the energy. It's the way they show up, the way that they carry themselves, their visibility, their fearlessness, their authenticness, right? And then we went through the 3 fundamentals. Remember them? The message, the brand design, the visibility strategy. And then last but not least, we went through the 4-part visibility strategy to allow you to be more seen, more heard, and more of an authority on social media, right?